We're talking about music. We're making it easy. This is Music Made Easy.
Hello, my name is Ryan Kazda.
And my name is Atharva Iyer.
And this is
Music Made Easy.
What are we talking about, Atharva?
This whole week we're actually going to be talking about some fun, cool scales.
Ooh, I
quirky
like
ones.
fun and cool.
Yeah, I do too. So today's specifically about chromatic and diminished scales.
All right, so let's kind of break it down. Let's start with chromatic scales. So chromatic scales we've actually kind of hinted at before when we went over intervals. Notice when we did the intervals episode way back when, we talked about going up kind of in half steps, right? Kind of doing the minor second, then the major second, then the minor third, then the major third, so on. Each time you're increasing half steps. And a half step is the key to kind of playing your chromatic scale. Isn't that right, Atharva?
That's in fact all that it is.
All it is.
You just go up or down in half steps. For instance, starting on C, that is the chromatic scale from C to C. In this scenario, you can start on any note because they include all the notes, so there's no specific rules. You can start on any note, finish on any note. You can practice them going different directions, going down, going up, together, not together, whatever.
Practice them however you want. Chromatic scales are cool. You can go up multiple octaves, go the whole range of your instrument on a chromatic scale. That's usually kind of a good test to kind of see your technique, kind of where your range is at. And the chromatic scales are useful for a lot of situations. Now, there's one important kind of rule that we kind of remember for chromatic scales, at least when it's kind of written down on a page.
When you're going up, you have to write the chromatic scales in sharps. For instance, so C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. Now when you're going down, you write it in flat. So C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E flat, D flat, C. And there's no specific rule that you only need one name per note and you can't reuse them. You can because they're using all 12, so you're bound to use them at some point.
Yeah, with a lot of these scales we're going to go over this week, that's a great point. We're not necessarily following the kind of one letter each is represented. Some of these scales might not even have enough letters to be represented.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind as we go on. All right, what's next, Atharva?
So the next thing on the agenda, we have diminished scales. And there's two different kinds of diminished scales.
There sure is. There's the whole half and then the half whole. I'm going to kind of go over the whole half, and then Atharva is going to explain the half whole. So starting with the whole half diminished scale, it's called that because that's actually the whole half pattern. It just repeats that the whole time. It's a whole step, then a half step, then a whole step, then a half step, and go on until you reach that kind of the same note you started on. Yeah. So let's do an example. If we take C, go up a whole step, we get D. Up a half step, we get E flat. Up a whole step, we get F. Up a half step, we get F sharp. Up another whole step, we have G sharp. Up a half step, we have A. Up a whole step, we have B. And then up a half step, we're back to C. So playing the scale kind of all together, so it's a little kind of spooky sounding. With the diminished sound, remember, it's all kind of built on minor thirds. And we kind of covered the diminished arpeggios, or diminished chords, I should say. And within that scale, you notice it actually has that. If you were to take every other note of that scale, that is your fully diminished chord. In fact, each kind of diminished scale is built on two diminished chords. So if that was taking the first, third, fifth, seventh, and then final scale degree, that gives you that kind of C diminished. If you were to take the second, fourth, sixth, and eighth scale degree, that then gets you another diminished chord. So these scales can kind of be broken up. Either way, it's just a lot of diminished kind of happening within that scale. And that is your whole half.
Then your half whole works the same as the whole half, except you do the half whole first. You do the half step first and the whole, and then it just goes in that pattern where it goes half whole, half whole. So the first note starting on C, C to C sharp to E flat or D sharp, then E flat to E, E to F sharp, F sharp to G, G to A to B flat to C. So you can play it here. And that is your half whole. And again, you notice how these were all present in there. So, and then in this case, it was this one that was present. So notice how there's two diminished chords yet again in the half whole diminished scale as well.
Exactly. Another thing to note is that this is actually a 9-note scale if you're counting that kind of starting note again. So a 9-note scale, a little unconventional compared to our normal kind of 8-note major and minor scales.
And the scales from the modes even. So
yep.
It's just to understand that these are kind of these quirky, fun new scales that we're going to be covering this week. And just a quick recap, chromatic scale is that half step or just a minor second above or a minor second below, just going up or down, flats going up, sharps going up, flats going down, starting on different notes, as far as you want, whichever directions you want, and that's kind of how the chromatic scale works.
And then for diminished scales, it's totally built on that diminished chord, the fully diminished chord. There's the whole half step pattern and then the half whole step pattern. Both of those scales can be used for various kind of diminished chords you see in your music.
For sure, guys. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. As usual, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys.
Awesome. See you later. Have a great day.
Bye.
We're talking about music. We're making it easy. This is music.